This session is being recorded. Thank you so much, Q, for joining us today for the Lunch and Learns. We're really looking forward to hearing about XBert. So can you just give us a brief overview, and I'll hand over to you to share with us everything that we need to know about XBert.
Sure thing. Thank you so much for having us. I'm just going to jump on and share my screen with you guys so that you can see what I'm talking about. Is that the right?
Yes, that's fantastic, Q.
Excellent. All right, fabulous. So for those of you who don't know I can see a few users online with us today, so hello. For those of you who don't know about XBert though, we are an AI audit tool integrated with task and process automation. And what really sets us apart from everything else you might hear about is that we are a tool dedicated for bookkeepers and built specifically for the way that you guys work. So we know from talking to our users that bookkeepers have been crying out for a tool all of their own, and that's really where we're focused. And we know that you're also spending so much time manually checking, doing manual audits, and our AI audit not only helps you know that your data is accurate, it's actually going to help you reduce your manual tasks and the time you spend on rework as well, which I know is a big thing. So if you're managing a team, it also allows you to have full visibility across your workload and their workload, so you can actually feel confident outsourcing or offshoring work if that's where you're at in your business. It's also really easy to collaborate with your team and clients in XBert. So we know that sometimes getting information on time or the right information from the clients can be a bit of an issue. So we've created an easy collaboration tool within XBert as well. And we've created a client console that allows that to happen. So, and if you're a bookkeeper looking to grow your advisory or dip your toe into a bit of advisory, then we have some deep insights into your clients' data that are going to be available for you as well. So who is it for? We have features in XBert to cater for all sizes of firms, right from your small sole trader right through to enterprise. Single bookkeepers, mid-sized firms, all use XBert. It's really excellent for people who are wanting to scale their business, particularly if you're looking to offshore your teams, like as I said earlier, or outsource your work. If you're looking to streamline and standardize and automate some of your processes and task creation, then this is absolutely the tool for you. And like I said earlier, our BI reports are great for those of you who are trying to understand the size and complexity of your clients. We're not ideal for sophisticated reporting or cash flow, but we're excellent to work in line with those solutions because they're getting really clean, accurate data, so they're able to work really well with us. Yes. Next, so in terms of an app stack, this is kind of where XBert would fit. At the moment, we integrate with Xero, MyOb, and QuickBooks. We don't actually push any information back into Xero at the moment. At those, we read only. XBert, as you can see, is in the middle there doing your AI audit, not just of your files, but also of your receipt capture apps as well. We do have the BI reports and data insights, which are really good for bookkeepers, like we said, who are just trying to get insights into the complexity of their clients, start to get some business insights for their clients. And we have the task and process automation to manage your team and your clients as well. We would recommend, if you are looking for that really sophisticated forecasting and reporting in terms of your clients, that it would be really beneficial for you to have something like Float, they're our mates over there, into cash flow forecasting, and Fathom in terms of reporting as well. The setup process in XBert is super quick. It's super simple. We have Xero single sign-on at the moment, and it's single sign-on is coming for MyOb and QuickBooks very soon. Two-factor authentication and bulk organization connection, so you can load up all of your files at once. And that's a really easy, simple process. So I'm just going to quickly move over now to show you a bit about the product. Can you see that screen there? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so this is, once you get into the product, you've loaded up some client files, you've signed up for your free trial, you've loaded up some client files, and this is your organizations board. So this is where you're going to see all of your clients. You can see them down the left-hand side of your screen there. And we've got some really handy bits of information across the top, so you can see what kind of software they're connected to, whether they've got payroll connected or not, the number of experts. So experts, for those of you who don't know and are new, that stands for Expert Business Alert. And that's our really sophisticated AI audit and machine learning algorithms that go through and monitor and analyze your the transactions within your accounting software. And when we find any issues or inconsistencies or errors or something that needs to be flagged, that will come up here and on your workboard, which we'll show later. So across then we've got tags here. So you can set tags to clients, which is just useful in our workflow solution, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then we have different roles that you can assign within your organization. And this is super helpful when you're setting up your workflow templates. And again, we'll talk about that later. This is new. We've got a client contact in here. So you can actually start to really collaborate with your clients in terms of assigning them tasks and having a client console where you can really get all that information that we're all talking about. And then we've got handy links over here for each client. What we always recommend is to start on the organisation that has the most expert and looks the most scary. Right here, we can see that Thirsty Studios has 14 experts with a potential risk of $35,700. So I'm going to go in and take a look at them. So once you click on a client, it will take you through to a client console. This you can tell because it's the banner across the top, it turns white. And we created these client consoles, like I've said, for that really easy client collaboration. Anything that happens within these client consoles is between you and your client. So you can go ahead and you can see here there's an activity. You can chat with your client. You can assign tasks and experts and ask for information. So for the purpose of this, I'm just going to quickly show you. Just switch this quickly. This one. There we go. So that you can see all of our experts that we have. Now, the experts are constantly monitoring not just the transactions within your data, but we also cross-reference with the ABR, with the ABN, GST details, so that you can, it's going to be flagging all sorts of issues and inconsistencies that you normally check. So for instance, we've got employee, junior employee birthdays. So as you know, as a bookkeeper, if someone's got a junior employee and they have a birthday, it might mean that they also get a pay increase. Instead of you having to manually have these alerts, we're going to find it for you. You can see we've got TPAR information missing. So if there's information missing from your journal that's going to affect you lodging that, we're going to give you an alert as well. If we go down here to GST, scrolling a bit fast. This GST. So GST registration required. We'll also monitor the amount of revenue so that if it looks like you're going to need to register your client for GST, then you can do that. ABN on bill attachment, different to supplier. So that's really handy if something on the attachment is not the same as what you've got on your system. You can go ahead and cross-check those. So for each of these experts, you can see we've got details and a resolve button. The details are really handy.
Yep.
Because you can go and have a look at, this is written in a way that your clients can understand as well. You can have a look at what the issue is and then the actual implications of if it is something wrong and you need to fix and you don't fix it. And then you can actually click resolve now and it's going to take you directly through to the line in your ledger or your accounting software. So that's a super handy time saver for a lot of people. You can also see that over here we've got comments. So you can add comments in as well. And for each of these experts, these are aligned to processes, which I'll talk about in a minute. These are your practice processes that are in Expert. You can assign them to a different, either a different user, or if you've got a client contact, you could assign it to your client to take a look at. You can set due dates as well. Add comments if you need someone to look at it. And then you've also got statuses for each one. So as you're working on it, you can move it into progress. You can see if you're waiting for something to come through, then you're waiting, you review, rework, you can actually complete it and it'll show up on a completed board and even snooze it if you don't have to deal with it for a few days and you just want to see it off your workboard. So let's go back into the Connect portal, so where all your organisations are. And this is really the holy grail, we call it, for your workday. Most of our users will start their workday on this board because you get full visibility over all your processes that need to be done, all of your clients along here, and then all the tasks and experts that are flagged. So this is really everything that you need to get done ever. And then we have some really smart filters along here. You can see reporting period, which is a great one that bookkeepers love. Remember that we said that this is built specifically for the way you work. So you can actually filter by day, week, month, quarter, annual, or even a date range if you're working within a specific date range. These dots along here are really helpful. If you see red, it means you've got things to do. If you see green, that means awesome, you've done all your work and happy days. There's a few different views to work on here. You can see these across the top, but because we're limited in time, I won't go right into them, but you can see that this is your work list, and this is actually a team view. So if you manage a team, it's a really easy way for you to see who's got what going on. You can see the processes down the side here, the users across the top, and then the number in the middle is what they've got to get done, and the red number is actually how much they've got overdue. Handy little tip that I will show you right now is that we've got a bulk assign action. So you can go into Steve, he's got 12 things overdue, what's going on there? You can actually go in, oh, do you know what? He's been off sick this week. I'm going to have to either update the due date for all of those tasks, or I can change it to a different user. Actually, I'll leave that one and that one. That needs to be done. You can actually update the user, or you can actually just snooze them for later as well. So see, I might update the due date for there, save that, and then you'll see all of those get updated. So let's go back to the processes down the side. Now, XBert has been loaded with loads of standard processes that we know that you guys do all of the time. However, they are fully customizable for your practice. This is our demo account, so there's lots and lots and lots of things going on in here. But you can see all these ones down the side. If you wanted to add them to your board, you can either say, I'm going to add this one right now. And you give it a tick, and then you'll see it over on the right-hand side here. These are the ones that are going to show up on your board, and these are what all your tasks, templates, experts are all mapped to. You can move them around for whatever your preference is to see on your board. Now, in terms of your experts, they all come pre-mapped to our preloaded experts. But if we go, preloaded processes. If we go over to expert automation, you can see that over here, they're aligned to a process. If you change them or if you customize, you just need to remember to come in and reassign them to a process. If they're not, they will just go to a no process set. So back to the workboard. I want to talk to you about templates because this is really what we find saves so much time for a lot of people. We know that you guys have a lot of repetitive tasks that happen on a schedule all the time. So these templates help you automate that task creation for yourself and your team at the relevant times in the business. These are the templates. If you look down, we're going to go down to JobKeeper. So this one's a bit out of date, obviously, but just to give you an idea, there's a few ways that you can use templates. We have steps. So steps are used when you've got multiple steps within one process that you either assign to different people in your team or you do them on different days. Otherwise, people simply go ahead and create, and we're just going to show you how to do a new template. They just create the one template with a bunch of subtasks in. It's really just your preference on how you want to work. So if we go ahead and create this template at the moment, you name it, you can post a link in here, so it might be directly to your accounting software, a description. So say you have to do it one way for MyOb and then another way for Xero. You can add some subtasks. So you just write those, that might be the steps, or it might be, and then you might have again instructions for different clients. So you can add instructions on each one, and then you'd add it to a process. So let's go monthly rec and review. You can also add attachments in there too, which are relevant to the entire template. So once you've created a template, and we know now from talking to our users that you might have a template, but then you've got multiple clients on that template. You've either got too much work to do for one day for all those clients. So you might want to set them in different schedules so that they flag for different clients at different times. So that's super easy. You just go onto your template, you click add schedule. You can either assign these to a role or to a user. Now we recommend normally doing it to a role, because if you have any changes in staff, that's actually just going to keep flagging for that role, rather than if you assign it for a user and someone has a change in staff. So if it's for yourself, you might use the user. You can do a reporting period date. You choose whether you want that, how much you want that to recur. You can say no end date. I'm going to say this one's weekly, no end date. You can add attachments again. So these might be attachments specific to those clients that you need either your staff or yourself to know about. And the due date, I want this due 7 days after the task is flagged. You can activate this schedule immediately, or if you're one of those people who like to plan, you can actually go ahead and say, I want these done 2 months in advance. Now we have to actually add clients onto this. You can go ahead and click the clients and add however many you want onto this schedule, or you can use these filters, which are really handy. So we talked about tags earlier. Once you've added tags onto your clients, this is a quarterly review. So I want all my clients who are on quarterly review on this schedule. We better make that quarterly then, not weekly, hey? And then we save that. And it's going to tell you how many tasks it's going to create over that many. You say, yes, create 0 tasks, even though there'll be more tasks when you're in here. So they're the templates. Now, quickly, because I know we're running out of time, I just wanted to touch on our analytics. I'm just going to jump over to this screen here. So our analytics is a really great way for you to have quick and easy access to deep insights into your clients' data. So you can see here that there's a whole bunch of handy metrics that you guys would normally spend a lot of time going to find. You can also get a really quick overview of your clients' data health. Normally, we'll go back to. All right, so over here also, you've got a really cool link where you can just copy the report link, and you can actually send that link out to your clients as a single sign-on report that they can view as well. So you can see how easily that would add some value, and you'd be able to add some value to your services for your clients. All right. That's a super high-level basic overview of what we've got going on with XBert. I wanted to open up to questions. I just wanted to talk about, actually, before we go forward, is what's next. So that's high level. We'd love, if that interests you, we'd love to actually do a proper demo with you, and we can really see how it would work specifically for your practice. But we've got some really exciting things happening in the pipeline as well. So we've got 55 experts at the moment, and we've got 50 more in development. So, and we're constantly adding to that list in terms of user feedback as well. We're actually enhancing our email integration. We do have email integration at the moment, but we're looking to enhance that to make it really, really simple and streamlined for you guys. We're looking into capacity management so that you guys can track how long and how much tasks will take and get a bit of an idea on how much time should be spent on things. And then we're actually white labeling our client console. So you'll be able to have your branding and your colors in the client console, and inviting your clients in for that extra professionalism for you guys, for your business. So that's the bulk of it at the moment. I guess we'll open up to questions now, Heather.
Thank Thank you so much, Q, for sharing that with us. It has evolved so much every time I see it, and I only seem to see it every few weeks, but it seems to drastically evolve each time. So if people do have questions, feel free to jump on and ask those questions. I will ask you a question from, I remember on one of the forums, Troy mentioned that when it comes to the tasks and processes, they were able to actually preload those from Pure Bookkeeping, which is a bookkeeping franchise. So I presume that was what you kind of, the areas that you were showing us there, that's something that's actually possible for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that reminder, Heather. So we actually have, we do have preloaded processes for a bunch of bookkeeping organizations like ICB and Pure Bookkeeping, but we also have a step ahead program. So for people who have either loads of clients or you're just worried about that change management, we do have that one-on-one workshops that we do to help really nail down on your practice processes and then implement those into XBert for you. So it takes that away. It's super simple to do yourself, but we know that sometimes it's just too much. And so we do have that service as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like a really good service for a lot of people to benefit from. And so you've also got the ICB processes in there, which is always interesting. And I know that I adhere to them very closely when I was actively operating in the field. Do we have any questions? Does anyone want to? Yes, there we go. Lady in red. What day of the week is it, Nicole?
Today's Morse code day.
Oh.
Dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot, dot. That's all I've got.
SOS.
My question is, I know you've got different levels of subscription, so you can sort of start and dip your toes in, warm yourself up and then move up. Roughly what's in each?
Okay, so we start right down on our light plan, which is just the AI audit. So if you're just thinking, oh, that AI audit sounds amazing, then that's probably a good option for you. And then we move through to manage, which is more for people who want to have some workflow. They've maybe got 1-2 people on their team, and that actually activates some of those processes. Then our grow plan is really for those next level businesses that are looking to grow. They've got to maybe have 1 or 2, maybe more team members, and then looking to dip their toe into advisory. That's when the analytics and the integration with BI reports kicks in. And then we've also got a partner program, which is for those bigger enterprise firms that are looking for, you know, they've got a lot of staff and a lot of workflows and things that they need to keep an eye on and automate. So.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Hey, Carrie, do you have a question? Awesome.
I do. I just wanted to ask how this would compare to, say, I'm using Trello at the moment, and you said that there's some workflow in this. What would be the difference? Is it sort of cross over, or does it integrate?
It doesn't integrate. I think the biggest thing to take away from that is that XBert is developed specifically for the way bookkeepers work. So there are a lot of task tools out there, absolutely. And so they're great, but they're not quite in line with how bookkeepers work. And that's exactly what XBert does.
Okay. All right, cool.
Thank you for that, Carrie. And I know other people do sometimes use Trello, but then have another solution like XBert sitting at the side as well. I'd like to go to Kirsten. I'm not sure, you're welcome to jump on video or ask the question. Kirsten, you've put your hand up to ask a question, so I'm just wondering, are you there? Oh, she's put her hand down. Looks like she bumped that button by mistake. That's okay. Maybe she was just wanting to share something with us. Does anyone else have any questions they'd like to ask of Q while she's here? Excellent. Would anyone like to jump in and just talk to, from an accountant's or a bookkeeper's perspective, of how you use XBert in that initial scoping phase of working with a client?
I was about to say Michelle, but she's picked up the phone.
I know. I think I know, I think he hung up, so I think I'm okay. I mean, I've used XBert since nearly the beginning, and it's every time I see a new XBert, I'm just so excited that it's something else I can take off my checklist. Because, you know, you start with these massive checklists of things you have to do every month or every quarter or everything else, and things like superannuation. So I no longer have to have superannuation on my checklist because there's an expert to tell me that it has or hasn't been done, which is great. And so the shorter my checklist can get, the more time I get back and the happier I am.
That's sensational.
Love it, Michelle.
That's sensational, Michelle. How could you talk to, like, if say a new client comes along and says, I'm interested in you working with me, and you actually look at them and review them, and how you use XBert to do that?
So, you know, we always do like a health check kind of thing when we take on a new client. So first thing I would do was get my PI engagement so that I can get in and look at their file and get authorization to do that. And then, yes, shameless plug for Brooke. Sorry, Brooke.
Yeah. Brooke's cheering you on.
Yeah.
She's got the keyboard going in the background.
And then the next step would be to connect their Xero file and let XBert run in the background and find everything that, so I'm not having to go in each section of Xero. I'll let XBert find what I need to know first. It saves a lot of time, and it means I haven't changed anything, I haven't done anything, but I've got a whole list of issues that I have to go back to the client and say, right, this is where we have to start. Clear up all these experts, clear up all the issues with GST, clear up all the issues with dates and overdue things, and then we can move to the next step. And it makes my quoting a migration or a new job much easier because I can see how clean that data really is.
Yeah, and I think that to quote and to review files sort of in the olden days was so much work, and you hear so many people getting stung by it, that having something like this, an actual tool that can come in and overview it, and at least point you in the right direction. Like, you know, if you get hit with a tsunami of experts, there's probably some further issues with the client that you need to incorporate into that scoping. And
you find out how much backup data is already included in the file, like, you know, and more often than not, there's no attachment to back up those expenses. So, you know, it's great to find that out without having to delve too deeply into that.
Yeah, absolutely, and waste that time, etc. But Antonio, you've joined us. Would you like to share anything or ask anything?
Yeah, it's an ask rather than a share. So I've been kind of watching XBert for a little bit and definitely interested in it. I am one of the dinosaurs, shall we say, that still bills by the hour, which makes it harder to package something like XBert into my offering to my clients. And it's one of the things that's a tipping point that I might try and move onto a fixed package billing in the nearish future, but I'm not there quite yet. Yes, I know Nicole thinks I should have done it ages ago. Where I'm definitely interested is in the bringing a new client on and effectively having it as a package billed to my client that, right, you come and I'm going to charge you X amount for my initial review, and that would include, ideally, hooking up XBert, doing all those reviews that Michelle's just talked about, dealing with those, but then switching it off again because I don't have staff. If I'm doing all the bookkeeping for a client, then I'm happy with my own set of checklists. How does that work with your billing, really? So, no, long story, that's my question. How does that work? I don't want to have a package of all my clients all the time. I want to be able to switch it on, run a set of checks on a file, and then ideally switch it off again. Is that something that can be done?
Not, I'm getting yelled at from the corner. Not particularly, not really switching on and off like that. However, the AI audit side of things might, and the life plan might be something that's more affordable and more in line with what you're thinking. So we'd be happy to have a chat with exactly how that might look, and see if there is something that we can work out. But yeah, in the current model that we have, it's not something that we promote or do. Yeah.
Cool. I'm definitely interested in, probably getting through this best period and then sitting down and having a real look at it. So it's definitely something I want to be able to offer. It's just how I'm going to get it to fit in with the way that I build.
We'll organise a call with one of our customer success.
That'd be great.
Antonia, I still work, a percentage of my business on an hourly basis, because I work with a lot of tradies. The thing is that I'm finding that having this run in the background is giving me so much time back that I don't have to worry too much about including in my billing, because I'm making that money, because I'm not having to do the GST checks and go back and forth between so many things that you're spinning your wheels with. Even if you're not using the task templates, just using it for the basic experts, you're going to get a hell of a lot more back than turning it off and on. And it's going to be running. Yeah,
on top of that too, I guess there's, which I didn't get time to cover, is we do have expert review, which is actually awesome. You don't actually have to go through and see what expert has picked up. There's a link that you click, and it shows you all the risk in every section of file in terms of sales, invoicing. You can actually show that to your client and be like, this is how much risk is in your books right now that I'm going to have to resolve. So all that work's done for you as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely keen, and the idea of having someone covering my back is worth paying for, but it's whether it's worth paying that amount for, given that I'm a sole trader and I work part-time, so I don't have massive revenues, and so it then becomes quite a large percentage outlay, I guess.
We can totally talk about that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Thank you for your question, Antonio. And I'd also like to address, we don't think anyone is a dinosaur. We don't think anyone is a dinosaur. Everyone operates their business correctly. We're not, like, none of us are sitting here in judgment of anyone. And I know that some webinars do run like that, but you can charge and bill people the way you want to bill people and work in with your lifestyle. So
yeah, I mean, and it's something, Nicole and I have spent many conversations discussing it. A lot of my clients are really little and they don't want to commit to big costs every month, because if they have a quiet quarter, they don't want to think, oh God, now I've got to pay Antonia this, that and the other. Sorry, I'm not doing anything this quarter. Okay, well, it's going to take me 5 minutes to review your BAS. So there are reasons that I do it, but then when I see conversation I'm having with Receipt Bank this morning is another part of that. It's really hard because you want to be able to package things, and it's very hard to package when you're on fixed price.
Yeah. No, there are some challenges.
Not sure I understand.
Ugh, sorry, Siri thinks I'm talking to her.
Hello, Siri. Yeah, look, and maybe we should have a session in our community chat about part-time workers, part-timers. How do you juggle it as a part-timer? Because I like to implement as many robots as possible, but then how do you build them out, etc. And sometimes you accidentally, because the robots work so well, you take on way too many clients, and then you kill yourself at compliance time.
Yeah.
But for 8 months of the year, it's perfectly fine and everything's running well. But excellent. Well, thank you very much for your question, Antonia. Feel free to ask any more. Does anyone else have any questions?
I can see one in the chat that just says, does Expert run Zoom training sessions? And yes, we do. We're just launching a monthly Zoom training session, and that'll also feature our new feature releases, because things do happen extremely fast around here. Expert a month ago is very different to Expert now. We're constantly having new feature updates. So yeah, so we do. And if you're on our mailing list, you'll get notified of all of those. I just realised too, I never had our call to action slide. So Heather, if you don't mind.
Yep, sure. How can we get in contact with you, Q?
You can just go to, the best thing to do is start a free trial.
You've still not shared your screen with us.
Oh, I'm sure. I was just going to say it, but I will share.
Share the screen.
Hang on, let me find it now.
But while she's sharing the screen, if anyone else has any questions, she's here, and we've got the people here to answer your questions.
So we've got, there we go. Can you see that?
Fantastic.
Excellent. So the best thing to do is go and start a free trial at xbert.io, and as soon as you do that, one of our customer success people can be in touch and talk about exactly what's going to be best for you, how to set it all up, all of that kind of jazz. So, and once you've done that too, you're on our mailing list and you'll be notified. You'll come into our Facebook group community and you'll be notified of all of our training sessions and any new feature updates and things like that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, Antonio. And I know that just having even in the free trial, it can actually pick up a lot of things, such as there's no ABN on this bill, and thus by alerting someone, you're actually saving hundreds of dollars. That I know that we should check every ABN every month, every time, but who has that sort of time on their hands? Yeah, I don't. I can't. I'm not in the game for that. I want my robots to be doing that. So, Nicole, you just mentioned something in there. Do you want to jump on and tell people that?
We think it's really great for TPAs. We had an issue before we were using XBert where one of our clients, we work with trades and construction quite a bit, and one of our clients was buying stuff from a shop, and partway through the year, the shop changed ownership. So it still had the same business name, but it had a different ABN, and the new business wasn't registered. And because we're using Receipt Bank for our processing, the name of the business was still the same, and we didn't realise it was different. And so when it came time to do the TPAs, we were checking through all of the ABNs and whatnot, and it had come in to zero with the correct GST treatment, but it changed partway through the year, and that looked a little bit odd. Of the 60 invoices, 50 of them had GST and the last 10 did not. And we're like, that looks a bit wrong. And so then we opened them up and we looked at the ABN and we looked at some older ones with the ABN and we realized it was different. Whereas XBert would have alerted us to that the contact in zero and the attachment were different. And we would have picked up that the ABN had changed. So we had to make a separate contact so that we could report the two different suppliers on the TPAs. So yeah, I would definitely, if you're thinking maybe to test it out for TPAs, it'd be really handy.
Yeah, that's such a tricky one, and so easy to miss, and so easy to go confidently. Why is that changing? Just override the damn thing. Not that I'd ever do that.
Oh, of course not.
but I'm sure there's people out there who would do that, because it's just like, why the name's the same? Why would they have lost their GST? But as we know, people change it all the time. Anyway, so does anyone else have any more questions? Otherwise, I will thank Q. No more questions. So thank you so much, Q, for joining us today and sharing with us what XBert does and how we can use it. And thank you, everyone, for attending and asking all of your questions. So we could really see a sort of a 360 degree of how XBert works. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. It's so nice to see so many people on.